We've all watched on as Manchester United have got carved open defensively for what feels like half a decade, leaking easy goals left, right and centre. But in just 2 games, against the Premier League's best 2 teams in City and Arsenal, Michael Carrick has immediately transformed how this team looks with and without the ball. So how's he and his coaching staff done that? And more importantly, how's it going to translate moving forward? Let's answer those questions in this video. It's been pretty ace watching United these last couple of games. The shift under Michael Carrick has been immediate against the 2 best teams in the league. Now going into Fulham, it's going to be more questions asked. So what actually is changed? I'm going to run through this in a simplified version so you can understand it a bit more. And I'll be honest, I think that's exactly what Michael Carrick has done with the players. So I think it's actually quite reflective of it. And I'm going to run through 3 key points: out of possession, in possession, and the pressing structure. And I'll explain everything. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Before I get into this, I do want to say one more shout out to Legend, sponsoring this video. And they've been sponsoring United People's TV for a good long time. Got one of the hoodies on here, dead comfy. They've got loads. They've got some new stuff as well. Some new sets, some tees, some hoodies, some shirts. If you want to grab some, follow the link in the description. You can get 10% off with United People's TV. I'm going to be wearing these all for the rest of the year. Maybe not these hoodies. A bit warm. But right now, I'm telling you, you'd want one. Let's speak about the 3 things I think, the 3 main areas where I think we've seen immediate change under Michael Carrick. First things first, out of possession structure. Now this one, I think we've all seen this, right? United here lining up simply in a 4-4-2. Out of possession. Ahmad pushing forward a little bit there. But largely, you've seen this shape. United in quite a narrow 4-4-2, and the narrow aspect is important as well. We go here against Arsenal, and you can see the lines again. All 4 of United's centre-backs, well not defenders, sorry, inside our 18-yard box. Our midfield just in front of them, and our 2 strikers there. 4-4-2. Narrow. It's really helping United. And I think this is an interesting one too. There's a few players I want you to focus on. Number 1, focus on Dorgu being here as part of a midfield 3. Okay, because the ball is on the opposite side. But watch what happens when it switches. And only a few seconds later, Dorgu's then pushing up and Ahmad drops in to make a midfield 3. It's helping United's midfield to not be exposed. All right, the out of possession shape has been significantly better. And Steve Holland will definitely be a big part of how that is happening. For sure. Alongside what Michael Carrick is doing, I think a lot of what Carrick is doing and the good stuff is to do with the intent in possession. But out of possession, we are far more disciplined. United are not conceding a lot of chances really against City or Arsenal because of our shape, because the players know what they're doing. And part of that as well is how we're approaching the press, because I suppose we are pressing less, but we're pressing smarter. And the press has been a big problem for this bloody football club for a long time, right? Look here. Dorgu, Bruno, and Mbumo really close together. Let's fast forward here. Just the shape of United when we're out of possession in the opposition's half. Sometimes we're going into a low mid-block. Sometimes we're stepping forward. It's how, for example, we scored the goal against Arsenal. And Mbumo squeezing and pressing the ball, the triggers. It seems like the players are understanding it a bit more. One big thing is how narrow we are staying. We're offering the width to City with Semenyo and Doku. We offered it to Arsenal with Trossard and Saka. But as soon as they had the ball, we doubled up on them in terms of how our fullbacks were being supported by the wingers. Defensively, we've been a much better unit in these last 2 games. That's what's limited City and Arsenal to very minimal chances. Arsenal had to resort to set pieces. City didn't score against us. It's not a fluke. It's not a coincidence. It's down to better structure out of possession. But the thing I would say where Carrick is really helping United going forward, that's going to be down to the intent with possession. Because the way I look at it, attacking football, a lot of it is instinctive. A lot of it isn't really trained. It's just like, it's what players naturally know how to do. And they're going forward. You haven't got to teach them how to do it. You have to enable them to do it. Now, if United being a better team defensively, that's where the structure comes in. The work on the training ground really comes in. The shape. What do you do when you're out the ball? What do you do when the ball's on the opposite side of the pitch? Shifting across and thinking about those things. But going forward, I think Carrick's just enabled a lot of what we're seeing. Right? First things first. Here. United winning the ball back with Bruno. What's happening with Mbeumo? What's happening with Mbeumo? Running forward. Dorgu running forward. Bruno there on the ball, looking up, and can see these runners all looking forward and moving forward. Here is an example. Dorgu on that left-hand side. What's he going to do from here? Well, he spots the run of Ahmad. Complete as an absolute class pass, that one. Intent from United moving forward. Now let's speak about the intent of the 2 goals against Arsenal, which I think is going to be the best example of it for you. Here, from this position, what does Martinez do? A beautiful ball through the lines. The typical Martinez pass. Breaks the lines. Dorgu picks up the ball. What does Dorgu do? Lovely, intricate play with Bruno. That's just quality. There's no real way that they should get out of this with possession. 1, 2, 3 players. They're outnumbered. 4, well, if you want to go 5, if you really want to extend it. 2 of them, just quick one-touch football. Great intent. Dorgu absolutely slams it home. Intent. The players being enabled, putting the right platforming players, putting them in the right position, and creating the structures to help them move forward. Secondly, here, this is, no one really spoke about it that much, but this is Šeško coming on. Ball being fired up to him. Look how many United players are around the ball there. What happens? Šeško wins his duel. No, not even wins his duel, really. Causes a problem, but who's there for the second ball? Bruno wins it. Gets it to Kobe. Kobe wins it. Meg. Through to Cunha. Cunha strokes it home. Intent. United won the second ball. Intent. Martinez breaking the line, and then United having the great quality to do that. So part of the reason we've been better going forward is down to the quality of the individuals, the finishing from Mbeumo, the clinical nature of United against Arsenal, the clinical nature that we had against City. We had the ball in the net 5 times. We could have and should have won by more than 2. I think going forward, I think a lot of what we're seeing is coming down to Carrick enabling these players doing what they're doing. But from a defensive perspective, I think that's where you're seeing the work of Steve Holland. And overall, what you're seeing is Steve Holland and Michael Carrick working together. Now, what do Jonathan Woodgate, what do Johnny Evans? I'm sure they all work on the defensive coaching side of things on the training ground. But as a partnership, I think what we've seen in these first 2 games is the best of what Steve Holland can bring and the best of what Michael Carrick can bring and he can enable. It means trying to simplify this by running through 3 points. It's not to say that what Carrick is doing is simple. Because if it was that simple, United wouldn't have not won the league in 12 fucking years. So it's not me downplaying what he's doing. I'm just trying to explain what I'm seeing and what the players are clearly seeing and clearly being able to understand. Now, how does that translate into Fulham? Right? Because I've just had a whole section there speaking about United's shape out of possession. But the reality is, so Carrick and Holland will want United to have the ball more against Fulham. So we're going to see far more of the in-possession structure. What are we going to be doing going forward? How is the intent with possession going to be when you've got more than 50% of the ball? It's the next question to ask about this team. But I've loved what I've seen so far in these first 2 games. It's completely exceeded my expectations. And more so than anything, I think it's the defensive solidity that we've seen, not giving up chances, and how that's not really stopped us creating going forward. Because sometimes when you go that defensive, it can limit how good you are in attack. But I think we've seen an excellent balance so far. Fulham, it's the next challenge.